Exactly. Well, so thank you all so much for coming out. And we're talking about, as Amanda mentioned, the Great Tampa Snow Show, 1958. And so, just to kind of get it started, and of course, we'll make sure y'all see that we have a very special person, so that's very important.
Sign up tonight.
Exactly.
Makes you good stocking stuff.
It's
well worth it.
But the Great Tampa Snow Show is have a subtitle, Melting Ice from Ice in the effort to save downtown Tampa, because all of those things were either intentional or what actually happened with the Great Snow Show. And so I'm going to turn it over to the guys to ask them what despite how they looked, actually weren't here in 1958 for the Great Snow Show. But what do you guys know about the Snow Show?
I did research.
Yeah. What'd you find?
It was a real catastrophe. I'm going to keep it PG-13 because that's what I was told before the show. But it was a real mess.
It's a real S show.
Someone was dreaming of a brown Christmas.
Yes. That we'll get to. This was the idea. So the idea of the Snow Show was the downtown businesses were beginning to lose customers to this new thing called the suburban mall. It's 1958. The suburbs are growing brand new.
It's true.
Yeah. Hey, I know that.
It's the only reason why I live there. I'm going to be in some place that's not bustling.
Exactly. And so Carol with us, Town Country, all those places were growing, and they all had these little strip malls or getting full-size actual malls, all to the detriment of downtown Tampa. Well, these two advertising executives are starting their own company. They knew what was going on in downtown. They had this great idea. We are going to have a winter festival in downtown Tampa to bring shoppers back into town. They both were from up north, and they both thought the one thing that was missing in a Florida Christmas was snow. Well, it's missing because it's hot. So they thought, well, the first thing we got to do is get the ice. And so this guy, Howard Wilton, looks in the phone book and literally looks up ice and yellow pages, finds a city ice company, calls the guy, and he said, hey, we're thinking about having a snow show. Can you manufacture snow for us like you would see at ski resorts up north? And he said, yeah. We ice down the strip fleets every day, so we have these big ice chippers, and we put in 3-ton blocks of ice, and it creates whatever size snow chip you want, including stuff that was like snow. And so I thought, great. He said, your only problem you're going to have is getting rid of it. There's no way the snow's going to come. Terrible thing to say because, spoiler alert, the snow.
Is this the original sketch here?
Yes, so
okay,
that
sketch?
That kid on Santa's lap was so happy.
The man was actually drowning in the melted snow as he was drawing.
You see, the snow is actually melted. So yeah, the idea, this was what they used to pitch to the downtown merchants, that this was going to be a great idea.
Even drawings were in black and white back in 1958.
That's funny. Right. Why is it color? But this is Franklin Street, Tampa, PA. That's actually where everything was happening. It's right on Franklin Street, right by Moss Brothers, the main department store. That's what you see. Wolf Brothers, of course, was part of this as well. So again, they're great ideas. One of the ideas was this. So y'all recognize this?
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Is this for kids?
Yes.
Oh, God.
It was a different time. It's the same kind of mindset when we used to build ramps for our bicycles back in the 70s and 80s. And you go, 2x4's got a bunch of rusty nails. Perfect. Yeah.
This is turning into quasi. So they have a ring. There's some kind of safety.
Thank God.
But they wanted to have first a ski jump. And so they had an architect design a ski jump. Florida architect who's never seen a ski jump. And so they realized, well, you can't really have a jump because there's no place to land. So we're going to make this a big slide. So this is 5 stories tall. You all may recognize this is in front of the old Exchange Bank, which is still open now, but as a restaurant. But this game is going to be right in the middle of town to attract all these people here. So a construction company built the 5-story ski slide for free. Part of the deal was they would get all these businesses to contribute to make the expense less for the downtown merchants, but also to spread some of that pain. And again, the idea was they just used construction scaffolding and then this big slide that they put plywood on and they put chicken wire on. And the chicken wire was going to be what holds the ice together. So the city ice company with these big ice blowers were going to just blow literally tons and tons of ice onto this. Now,
We all know that everything engineered with chicken wire always works
chicken
out.
wire. So duct tape in the 1950s.
Now, had we had skiing chickens, would have worked perfect.
I thought that was wrong. And so they also had different attractions. So that is the Queen of the Snows, St. Paul's Snow Queen, basically. So they brought her in.
And she earned it the honest way.
That's the most beautiful woman in Minnesota.
I read it was rigged, and I assumed she had like a cockeye and a hunchback.
Well, she looks good. She looks good.
They have legit elections in Minnesota. And that's Mayor Nick Nucio, Danny's mayor, who plays a role in all of this.
And now he has a prominent housing project named after him.
This is Gigi and her Alaskan Huskies. And
They're so
She
hot.
does not have control of those dogs.
so yeah, so she was kind of forced to wear her fur outfit, even though part of the thing is in the high 80s.
No pictures. Get him.
And those poor dogs, exactly. Crazy high. Because she literally is, she's from Alaska.
They're
So
so
that's just-
cool.
it's not just the name. She is from there.
Oh, okay.
And then the tree. So the Christmas tree. This was the first big problem that actually happened with the Snow Show. And the indicator of this guy, Howard Hilton, who ended up writing all about it. This is when he knew things were going to start going bad. The idea was to have the tallest Christmas tree that any community has ever had. Bigger than the White House Christmas tree, bigger than the tree at our Republic Center. So fortunately, they thought, for the Snow Show organizers, the state of Minnesota was celebrating its 100th anniversary, and they would want to be kind of part of the advertising for this because God knows everybody in Florida wants to go to Minnesota. So they would send us a 100-foot tall Christmas tree, taller than any celebratory trees we brought in. So the first tree, the previous year, they tried to get an 80-foot tree for the White House, and it didn't work. They tried, and kept failing. Either the trees kept breaking as they chopped them down, or they couldn't get them out, all kinds of problems. So it was a difficulty just getting them to agree to spray this tree. We finally did, kind of playing on civic pride. So they have a 100-foot tall tree. It's taller than railroad cars, so we had to put on 2 railroad cars. And it worked until it got to Indiana. And it went around a particularly sharp bend in Indiana, and where the 2 cars turned, the tree literally broke in half. And so they called the governor of Minnesota, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do it. I'm done. I'm sick of these Christmas trees. We're not doing it." Well, somehow they found out that the mayor of Duluth, Minnesota, was a political rival of the governor. So they got him to get a Christmas tree from just outside of Duluth, short enough to be on one of these extended rail cars here. Made it all the way here. This is the corner of Polk and Franklin Street, which is where the tree was going to go. So they have Tico help with their cherry pickers, and they stand the tree up, they have the guy wires up, they're going to put a literal ton of Christmas lights up. And they realize the tree at the base is shifting around on the ground. The wind's blowing it, so the tree's moving around. They thought, oh, we can't have this, it's going to fall down and kill somebody. So they asked the mayor, the Nucio we just saw, is it okay if we dig about 2 feet into the street? That way there's a little bit of a base for the Christmas tree to go into. And Nucio, without thinking of it or asking anybody, said, sure, fine, that's a great idea. So they dig away 2 feet of roadbed, raise the thing up.
It's Christmas.
I know, right? I mean,
Take a hole in the
what
street.
could go wrong?
What's that? What are you going to hit? Water?
Well,
Dirty water?
dirty.
Disgusting water?
Yes. They dug 2 feet down. They put the tree in slowly, got everything set up, released the tension. Matt, what happened?
That's where we keep our
It broke through the rest of the roadbed, broke into the sewer pipe that was running underneath.
Did you guys not get that from what I was saying?
Raw sewage began coming up.
It's like fertilizer for trees.
The tree's dead.
Yeah.
You can hold on to some life.
Because we cut it up.
And so, where the branches were 6 feet off the ground, they're laying on the street, soaking up this raw sewage. TV crews are there because it's a big deal that this huge tree is here, and the organizers think this is a disaster. This is before the show even starts. So it's like a day away from starting. So this is already an indicator that things are going. So they eventually get the tree out of the thing, repair the sewage pipe, repair the street, and they get the tree out, I think, day 2 or day 3 of the actual snow show. they persevere. That's one thing about this. There is a moral of the story.
Day one poop,
Yeah.
day two Christmas tree.
Exactly.
That's how I plan my Christmases every year, honestly.
They will build your house, put your tree, your toilet. So this, I think this was the day before the snow show. Let's go to the next disaster that we see. Yes. So
I think he's gonna make it.
another grand idea. Part of this is trying to attract shoppers, trying to attract people. So they had different giveaways. One of the giveaways they had was
A dead body!
he's alive, but he's not.
Oh,
It was 70 years ago, so he's dead now, but he was alive. But they wanted to have a huge block of ice, and the Moss Brothers store would say, guess when the ice melts, and if you're right, you get a free trip to the Alps. Another thing they wanted was to somehow tie in with a Norwegian airline. Well, one of their executives was an Olympic ski jumper, this guy, Leif Svensson. They got him to come here and be the first person to go down the ramp and land successfully and start off the snow show. Well, what happened the night before? They got all the ice and all the snow and everything blown off. They had these toboggans. There's actually a company in Maine they bought them from, and they didn't believe that they actually were sending toboggans to Tampa, so they actually called back and said, hey, there was an order that was placed with you guys. Is this really what you wanted us to do? They had these 4 toboggans. They left them there with the ice in the middle of the night, and all these UT students found out about it. And so half a dozen UT kids go down that run in the middle of the night before the snow show starts. And you can see, if you look close, you see the chicken wire. They knocked all of the snow and ice off of it, so it was almost all just bare chicken wire. Leaf goes up there, and they have a band, Jack Gotti, who's like the big kind of band leader. They do all these different fanfares, and he looks and he said, I'm going to do it. And, well, that's
there's no jump. It just goes straight down.
well, there's no jump. Yeah, you have a very small transition between vertical and horizontal.
It's not a good angle.
Yeah.
And you can see, and there's hardly any ice or snow. It's almost all wood and chicken wire. But this guy still wanted to do it. Well, he wrecks, as we see. He's not dead. He actually gets up and he tells Howard, I want to do it again. I think I can do it this time.
And then he died.
No, he actually did. He succeeded.
This is how you know it wasn't during Prohibition.
So he actually made it, believe it or not.
Wow.
He actually was able to make it.
Because
And
it's broke.
well, so then what they didn't do is they didn't shut the thing down at this point. They instead let it go for 3 more days of people going down this thing with this crazy angle. Girl broke her back. People kept wrecking and falling off the side. They eventually shut it down. So the snow show was supposed to go for 14 days. They had kind of a loose end of the whole thing. But I think after day 4 or 5, they thought, okay, we're shutting it down. We'll come back to the girl who broke
We
her
got a
back.
couple of people paralyzed. Let's shut it down.
Okay, come on. Did it have to be 5 stories? Like 3?
But then, she lost her job.
And so here we go. This is, so there are still folks in this, it's been almost 70 years, so there are folks around who remember who were there, they remember.
Raise your hand if you were in this picture.
But there are some folks who remember this, and this was the scene that they really wanted. They wanted to have happy kids in the snow. But what they didn't realize again, with snow and ice, and I'm from here, so I don't know if snow and ice are really either. Apparently, when it's like that and it melts and kind of refreezes, it turns really, really hard. So kids would have snowball fights in the streets, and they'd be breaking the plate glass windows of all storefronts because ice is hard. Snow is soft, but that's ice. That's not snow.
Don't in Florida do the difference.
And so they were broken windows all around Freedom Street.
It's like releasing alligators in Buffalo. They don't know what to do.
Alligators, people love them.
Same.
But the biggest problem was it just melted. So it was the hottest November at that time on record.
Do we have a weather report?
89 degrees. Sunny at 89. And so it wasn't a matter of the ice not being able to get rid of it. It was just melting so fast. So they had to constantly pump more and more and more in.
So crack that sewer back open again. Dump it down there.
You guys remember, so you keep talking about the broth, so you really want to talk about the lady of the night.
We don't want to skip ahead.
No, I'm not trying to skip it.
We can go right into the lady.
No, we can
I'm
get
more
to
concerned that it sounds like you want to.
No.
Because I still know Gary Cooper, man on the bus was doing well that day. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's just a great way.
So there were all kinds of different characters that were part of this, and there were all kinds of different animals that were part of this. And so and actually Lerner, I think, plays a role in this. So they had 3 different Santas who would portray Santa during this day for kids. One Santa basically said that ask your parents for anything at Moss Brothers, they'll give you whatever you want. Moss Brothers, we don't give them the weather stuff.
Smart.
Yep. But one of the other Santas was a little worse. So what he did is they set aside a dressing room for the Santas, and I think it was the Lerner shop or somewhere very close to there. That, unbeknownst to anybody thinking about this, was adjacent to a jewelry store. One of the Santas, when he was changing, didn't ever come out. And so they closed the shop up, everything closed up for the night. He stayed in there. He cut a hole in the wall, went into the jewelry store.
Literally Home Alone 2. I just
And
want you to know.
robbed. It's 1958, so it's funny nothing. And they robbed the jewelry store
That's awesome.
from inside. From inside the jewelry store.
Yeah, I mean, it's more bad Santa, really.
That's true.
It's more bad Santa. Like, who's not going to trust Santa to change in their store?
I know.
I mean, he's got a perfect distraction. There's people tumbling down this stupid slope. Yeah.
Someone broke their back. Oh no.
Oh, darn.
Diamonds in his back.
Now, let me ask you this. Were any of these Santas the real Santa?
I hope not. Certainly not the one here. So the other human. So the police got to know Howard Hilton really, really well during all this, because every time something bad happened, Howard was kind of the instigator of all this stuff. And so when the Santa was robbing the jewelry store, he got the phone call. When the girl broke her back, he got the phone call. I'll talk about some of the animal stuff. They wanted to have penguins, because, what better place for Christmas Eve than penguins? Wrong pole, but that's okay. They wanted to have seals, and they wanted to have deer, like reindeer, but from Louisiana reindeer. The deer were the easy part, because the zoo so Lowry Park Zoo existed then in a much different form, and they wanted deer for the zoo. Kind of an odd thing to have in the zoo. It was 1950s.
Go to West Town right now.
At that time, you go to and so they sent these 3 city employees who worked for the zoo to Louisiana again. Why went to Louisiana if I could get these deer? I really don't know. But they got 6 deer, and they brought them back, and they actually got them here early. One good thing that happened, they let them loose on the zoo property. Why not? And so when the day came that they needed to bring the deer here, they had this nice little pen set up for them and decorations to kind of visit Santa's reindeer. The 2 of the deer were startled so much by them trying to capture them at night that they ran into this fence and got hung up in it, and so injured they had to be shot.
Oh my God. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Should have worked out today. I know. Well, no, the 3rd deer ran headlong into a tree and killed itself. The other 3 deer, the good news is the other 3 deer they gave up on, and they let them just live roam free.
They earned their freedom.
Reindeer, these are just regular
Just from the Louisiana deer.
Yeah.
You've never had a venison burger at Woolworths?
And so the zoo already had seals, because the zoo doesn't have seals. So they had a kiddie pool that they set aside for the seals. They pumped a bunch of ice into it because they figured that would be good. But what they didn't think about is seals aren't normally outside in the broiling sun, and so the seals got sunburned. And so whatever the animal rights group was at the time actually went to the mayor and complained about these seals being sunburned, and the mayor then goes, they actually helped the seals eventually were fine, like the deer.
Fun fact, SPF, the S is actually seal. Yeah. A lot of stuff, started.
See, if you started,
You ever rub a bunch of aloe gel on a seal?
PG-13, buddy.
Yes.
The last thing is they had this other guy the penguins. So the penguins, this guy, the doctor, bought a bunch of penguins, as you do,
The
Uh,
50s, you just buy penguins.
and
We rent them now. We're not dumb.
and then they were being shipped by air, and they stopped in Lima, Peru. And the officials in Peru wouldn't let them out of Peru because of parrot fever. I didn't know that penguins can catch parrot fever. I guess it's a cross-species thing. But
Those are things such as parrot fever.
Sounds like a southern rock song.
and so the penguins never made it out here.
That guy from Peru saved those penguins.
Yeah.
It's something horrible about it.
They died covered in
Swimming around.
Make you want to get parrot fever. And then the last animals they had was this guy had his own deer, pet deer, that he brought into the enclosure. And it started
mask is so
it started molting because it was so hot. And so it was terrible. And so it was, the animals had our difficulty. But then we began to the lady.
Hey,
Okay.
bring on the brothel. At any given time, did they think about pulling the plug on this thing, or were they like, no, we rented this for 3 days?
It was 10 days.
Oh,
supposed to be 10 days.
Yeah.
The
I thought it was a
brothel was the
weekend.
most profitable part of the
No.
thing.
No.
All right,
And
so-
yes, they absolutely did. They thought that like day 3 or day 4, when they
Yeah, what do we
when
do?
they took down the death slide, they thought, hasn't this thing gone on longer?
We saw a deer with skin.
We have a lady with a broken back. We got deers with melanoma.
Deer skeleton just running around.
Oh, I didn't also tell you guys about the woman who had her head sliced open as well.
Oh,
Did
dude.
you ever read about her?
Oh, I won't spoil
I
it.
bet Halloween was so cool downtown.
So in addition to all the other stuff, they had an ice skating rink set up. And they had, there was actually a guy who lived in Tampa, he was from Canada, and he was like a championship skater. And he knew those skaters. So they had skating demonstrations set up. Well, the one thing that actually worked with the snow show is people came downtown by the thousands. It was actually, from an objective way, it was successful. If you're not a deer or a seal.
Oh yeah, they got Rodney's blood. They're like, let's go see what's going on.
And so thousands of people came. And it's one of the first nights they had this skating demonstration. There were so many people who wanted to see the skating that they kind of rushed the stage a little bit and pushed the stage. And they didn't think anything through, obviously. And one of the things they didn't think through was how much of a barrier you need to have between the people who were skating with the razor sharp ice skates and the people who were watching the people with the razor sharp ice skates. So this girl did a spin, ice skate sliced her right across someone's head. Blood everywhere. Awesome. And there's actually a picture of her that they ran for paper. It's a paper ran picture.
It's amazing how many things happened in our history before people just got basic common sense. Like
Just stick your face that close to an ice skate. That's on you. That's on you.
hockey.
He's being pushed.
Hockey used to have like no glass, and people just die from pucks, and they're like, well, it's the Canadians,
It was a good 60 years of people getting slapped in the face with
Yeah,
that.
people used to play football with no helmets, It was a real.
I feel like most of this is just Florida. Like people that lived in Florida at the time had no experience of winter whatsoever.
We're the most free, bro. You can't give us more freedom.
When I was a kid, my uncle was like, seatbelts are for wimps. I'm like, you're on the hood of the car, you're bleeding. I'm like, come on, open up. It's crazy. It's a different time.
Yeah. And so the side where they were skating basically was that high. So just basically forehead high. So that was a bad thing, obviously. But then,
I'm miserable and I said,
so Howard's getting almost every single night a phone call from the police, from the mayor, from the animal protector people. Some problem is happening. So he gets a call, maybe day 7, day 6, day 7. Again, John's point, why I keep doing this. And it's the police. They said, you need to come down to your snow show. We got to show you something. And so he gets down by Franklin and Cass, thereabouts in the north end of the snow show. And he sees these 2 vice cops there on the corner. And they say, okay, stay here. And they said, we got a problem, and it's one of your performers. And so they kind of look around the corner. They had these little, maybe like airstreams or something like that set up for the performers to stay in. Why they wouldn't put them in a hotel, I don't know. But anyway, they had these little campers, and there is a line of men leading
Why, Ryan?
into
Tell them why.
Was she selling corn dogs? Because I waited a line for that.
She was selling her services.
Oh,
That's a really nice way to put it.
And the funny thing is they let her do this until Howard showed up. They showed him, then they arrested her. Why they did this?
Showed him. I'm like, are you the lie?
I know.
I don't care, why?
So I don't know. It was really weird that they, with all the.
So it was just
the
one
drama.
lady? I thought it was like a whole brothel.
No. We don't know.
Oh,
He
God.
never said
One
who it
lady
was.
brothel.
Poor woman.
I know. They never said who it was. Howard never revealed who it was. You know, there were a lot of these. The state troop was here. Gigi was here. There were a few others that were here. So no one really knows exactly who it was. But
That poor one.
Howard
What about
said-
the 40th guy in line?
Howard,
You don't feel bad for him?
Howard never revealed. He did say it was only one person, not
That's
a
crazy.
actual problem. So I
That's
don't know.
not a brothel.
You know how stories can go. So maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe she was the man. I don't know. But that was a interesting part of the Snow Show as well. That you had prostitution mixed in with all his other things, and so Howard again is kind of losing his mind because all he's seeing, he's in the middle of it, is sliced open heads, broken backs, dead deer, this woman turning tricks, Santa's robbing the jewelry store. But the reality is, again, there are tons and tons of people are coming downtown to shop. So at the end of everything, I think they cut it after 8 or 9 days. I don't think they went the whole 10 days. He's one exhausted, two, he's kind of disgusted with himself. But then, as y'all maybe saw as you came in, slowly letters started coming into the Chamber of Commerce and this advertising agency saying, wow, we heard about this really successful event you guys had. How do we do that? And he's thinking, we're out of your minds. We're never going to do this. There's actually a kind of post-mortem that was done in the paper where this woman said, crackers and snow don't mix. And he said, I wish I'd known. So he tallied it all up. There were 40 lawsuits and insurance claims. Dozens of arrests because of the snowball fighting and the other stuff. So almost a year goes by. In the trial, one of the lawsuits was the woman who broke her back. So they're going to go to trial because she's suing them for her injuries. Well, wouldn't you know, the day before the trial, one of the defense attorneys is at a bar. Day before trial, why wouldn't you go to a bar? Well, he happens to see the girl who's suing them dancing. And so the trial that night.
We all know bars didn't have ramps.
He pulled out his phone and started recording.
Yeah, gotcha. And so the next day he said, hey, where were you last night? And I guess I don't know, took pictures, but they settled, for very, very little money, that lawsuit. And that was actually the last lawsuit that they had to settle.
It
Was
sounds
for
like the
fraud.
only person who made money was that single prostitute.
You'll notice-
Man, she expected.
She should have been crippled.
So actually, I did the math, not on that. But one of the other things is the advertising agency. You see their basically their budget, and they billed $5,000 to be the agent for all this process. Well, that's $60,000 in today's money. So they made over the course of those 10 days.
Nice.
Probably wouldn't have thought it was worth it. He probably would never. He actually said, "I would never ever do this again." Everybody who wrote to me said, "Don't try it. It's insane." Savannah, you see, there's letters from Savannah, letters from New Orleans, kind of from all over the place, all these southern towns. And again, the overall problem was all of these urban downtowns were done. Every city, short, maybe a couple, but most, certainly the Sunbelt cities, that had a downtown that started with the automobile were losing their downtowns because of the automobile. They sprawl. And so all these places that are having those same problems, like, gosh, we heard you had 12,000 people go to your downtown one weekend. They didn't know why exactly or what brought them down. Maybe this lady, mayhem.
I was going to say it. I was going to say it.
I think it was Wilma.
I feel like it's like almost the same business model as like cruise ships. It's like, well, 150 people got hurt, there's 40 lawsuits, but like, we made a little bit of money, so let's keep doing it.
Yeah, well, they definitely do.
It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Are we just going to gloss over crackers and snow don't mix? I mean, am I the only one?
1958.
Who wrote that article? On the sites?
That could have been way worse.
I'm sure.
That was the reality.
That's true.
And
That's
so,
that's how Cracker Barrel is.
Shut your honky mouth.
so what's the lesson that we learned from all of this?
Let's do another Let's do it.
I think we can do it now. I think we have
I said we do it right here on the
More
table.
prostitutes, not just one lady.
Well, that's the lesson.
I don't know, I was here at Water Street last week and they had the fake snow going, they had the promenade, and
Life stories.
no, but I did buy a $14 coffee that was lukewarm, and it was supposed to be a coffee con leche. It was 7-Eleven coffee, and I think that was almost as tragic as this entire story. I was not happy at all. As a born and raised Tampanian, don't tell me coffee con leche and serve me Maxwell House. You know what I mean?
I think the lesson here is that Floridians will do anything to feel like it's like winter.
If you give us an opportunity, we will party harder than you think we will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
The Super Bowl parade, the boat parade. Look at that. Tom Brady's throwing the trophy. Like, we're gonna take it to the next level. Yeah.
We created the redneck, and and whoever said, I bet you can't put a 5-4 skis thingy on the downtown over there by the pools. And it's like, watch me, man, I'll put that thing up in 3 days. Like, I bet you want somebody to break your back. We'll see. Anyway, tell my cousin to set her Airstream up outside.
Tell me I'm not good to drive. Watch this.
Watch this.
This whole thing was watch this.
Yeah.
I live on a 1-lane road in Oldmar, and I can get home all by myself.
Wish there was Instagram. One of the few times I wish there was Instagram.
I know. Well, there's a lot of coverage in the papers, and so
There was a lot of pictures. A lot of people
there
that are
were
like,
lots.
quick, grab a flamethrower and light the flash.
Do y'all have any questions about the snow show? Happy to try and answer them if you do.
Were there any arrests?
Yes. Well, our friend, the lady of the night.
Oh, come on!
Santa was arrested.
They
The
caught,
two most fun people.
they caught Santa and
Several kids who realized they could break windows with ice were arrested.
Now, did we find out that he only stole the jewelry because he found out about the girl in the Airstream?
He's trying to make some money.
I was just saying.
Thanks for service.
You know what I mean?
The only two people who came to give that day. They arrested.
There's
seems like a basic Florida grift for sure. The whole
Did they ever consider trying to do it again, like, and improve it?
No.
Okay, good.
They thought it was a disastrous idea, and no one would ever.
They should have just used asbestos. You know, spray asbestos, nice and fluffy, totally safe, no big deal.
That's fun.
Yeah. Now this is
Oh, I forgot one of the other things. The city ice company, as you see here pumping ice, they didn't tell Howard that they're going into bankruptcy, and so they were closing. And so this was the ice company guy said this was later said this was our going away gift to the city because we're going bankrupt. This didn't help bankruptcy, of course, but they used 3 million pounds of ice over the course of the 10 days. His only stipulation was that his teenage daughter, she was 18, 19 years old, an aspiring model, would be used in promotional photos for the snow show. And they said that's totally fine. So there's pictures of her on top of a big pile of ice, a picture of her holding on skis, kind of all these different
Standing
promotional photos.
she won
Like this snow.
That's actually the thing you guys saw. Was totally, they saw this AI generated thing about the snow show, and believe it or
You don't
not,
know what I saw.
I did actually see what you saw.
get out of my phone.
And so it's like China. There's
Did you get tricked by
I
AI?
did. So y'all got tricked by AI.
I believe everything I read. The guy holding the big black tube is Elvis, guys. In case you didn't know that.
He's got a dream.
That's Drew Carey's uncle, Nick, that's holding the bottom of the tube. See? Yeah.
That's actually that is Howard Hilton there with the green hat on. They had
It's not green, it's gray.
Yeah, how do you know it's green?
because we have it.
Oh, you have okay.
Yeah, I actually have
We
that.
have this human head.
Yeah.
Ever been in a museum with John?
That's a good call.
We actually have that black tube.
So Hilton wrote a book about it?
So Hilton wrote an article about it. He had his memoir, and so we published it as part of we publish a journal every year. And so the second iteration that we did, 2008, we published his article on the Snow Show. It is a fantastic read. It's online if you all want to access it, because it's his own words. And when you read it, it's almost like a Mel Brooks movie. It is so good.
Wasn't he the promoter?
Yeah, he just said him right
So
there.
it has a little bias to it.
Well, but he's how bad everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he does not sugarcoat anything.
This was
It is
before bias, man.
Yeah, okay.
It is unvarnished. He is honest about how bad the idea was. But I think that's in that picture. He regretted very quickly having that green hat on, because all the people that were working for him all had these green hats. That's the Tampa Snow Show. In case anybody needed to find him for good news, but all they did was find him for bad news. And so, but he, God bless him, he never, decided to get rid of the hat.
Is that
He kept it the entire time.
Is that a chemical? Like Run DMC would wear?
No, it's a, we call it an African cord.
So
Pith
safari
helmet.
hat.
It's like a safari hat. Yeah, pith helmet.
Because when I think snow, I think safari.
Like, sir, another deer just ran into the traffic. We're sorry.
Yeah, this is before the internet, folks.
Yeah, you can get away with anything back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you pretty much do
All the
everything.
stuff that we know about is not as interesting as stuff we don't.
I know.
I'm sure it was
That's the
way,
thing,
it was probably way worse than this.
There's probably a lot that we don't know.
Now, what was the main hospital at that time? Was it
Tampa
General?
Yeah.
And did they say how many people were entered
Meant to go there.
for the 10
That's a
days?
good question. I'd
Yeah.
say probably from all the different wrecks on the ski slide and
Yeah.
a dozen.
Or like how many children busted their heads open with ice balls and everything?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the hospital for that back then.
Yeah, they don't
A
count
little
that.
mercurochrome on your head. And
Walk it off.
Yeah.
Oh, you bleeding?
Well, it's interesting because we still do some of this stuff. We still do fake snow. We still do Florida ice rinks outdoors.
Small doses.
Yeah, small doses, but we still do some of this stuff. It's just not as extravagant as what they attempted.
Exactly. That's the thing. But they also they aim for the stars. This
Yeah.
wasn't like let's just try and do a moment of snow. We're doing a 5-story slide. We're doing
Insane.
this.
Like if they said that today, if they said we're gonna do a 5-story slide today, people are like,
Don't do
no,
that, yeah.
there's no way we're doing that.
Not even knowing what happened. People
It's
were
like the
doing
slides that you see at Adventure Island that they don't let anyone ride on anymore. And they're like 5 stories, they go straight down. It was like, yeah, like broke
You mean the most fun ones?
Yeah.
Well, thrill parks to me are only thrilling if there's a real chance of, maiming yourself.
Your face and getting torn off.
Possibly.
Slide.
Now they're so safe.
Who wants that? Not me.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, so how much did the city pay for?
Well, the city didn't really pay much of anything. It was all these merchants. And so I just began looking out there. The budget was about $60,000
$60,000.
for that time. So that's about $700,000 today.
It's about 7 meals at the Columbia.
Columbia is a very good deal.
I love it. Yeah.
But it was pretty expensive because again, they tried to bring in all these animals. They brought in all this talent. They had to build all this stuff that they didn't pay for the guys. But it was pretty expensive. But the merchants felt it was worth it because it was the idea of finally bringing in more shoppers into town. Which by that time, by '58, you had probably 4 or 5 years worth of suburban sprawl and the exodus from downtown, and they were really worried about that. Now, Moss Brothers was one of the first or one of the biggest contributors to this, but just a few years later, they would join the sprawl when West Shore Plaza opened. They opened Moss Brothers there, so they themselves saw they couldn't fight this too much longer. They stayed open until 1998.
And now it's going to be a park. See?
I know.
Full circle, full circle.
Has anyone ever seen Gary Cooper, Man of the West?
That's the next one.
Johnny's-
That's our next one.
It's in my Netflix queue. Yeah.
What happened to the woman whose head was broken?
Oh, they sewed it up and she moved on. Everybody, as far as I know, nobody had any lingering, other than that deer, any lingering issues. The woman with their back was good enough to dance. They sewed the woman's head up.
Leaf skied again, right?
Leaf skied again.
Okay.
Skied that, the very next day. He told Howard, when you do this again next year, I'll help you plan the ski slide. Howard said, no.
Yeah.
There was guy
up a cute woman's face. He was like, no, we're not doing it.
Leaf was like, we just need to add one more story. Some more powers so we can get down faster.
Yeah, Leaf was there.
Leaf sounds like he had a terminal illness and didn't tell anybody. He's like, I'm going to find a way.
One last try.
Yeah. Are we skydiving? Let's go. Yeah.
Yes, in the back there.
I'm sorry if I missed it, I did step out for a few minutes, but did you talk about PETA and the seals, and then did you talk about the ice block that they had to guess?
We didn't talk about the ice block.
We did not talk about the ice block. So yeah, so I couldn't remember if it was actually PETA, because I don't think it's that one. Here they are. We mentioned the blistering seals.
Okay.
And then
Oh, when you said pita, I'm so fat I thought you were talking about putting the deer meat on pita. Pretty good, like that's tzatziki. Yeah.
But so the ice block. Moss Brothers ran this promotion where they had this giant ice block that was supposed to melt, like the rest of the ice wasn't supposed to melt. And if you guessed at what time or how many hours it would take for the ice to melt, you would win a vacation to the Alps. Well, people, as people do, began pouring salt on the ice to accelerate its melting. And so I think they eventually.
That sounds very Tampa.
So Tampa, yeah. Having margaritas off the ice block. Good time.
Yeah, why waste that giant ice block?
Yeah, it's 3 million pounds of it.
Yeah.
Any other?
Was there some link to organized crime or something? I saw
Well, there's always probably
In
some.
Tampa, yes. The answer is yes.
Organized crime. Yeah.
Today, also today.
Yeah.
Specifically, I don't. Did you see that? I don't
I
think.
thought I saw something on one of the materials.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we would be promoting it like daily bolita draws or anything like that. But I there had to be something. Someone did be able to take something, but I don't.
I think the girl in the trailer was
Yeah,
the only
there's
thing
a
that was
lot
tied
of-
to the mom.
Maybe Santa, maybe he was. Part of the syndicate.
Try to start a child young.
I just feel like, cause everybody in the picture that I'm looking at on all the pictures are,
Look at the happy children.
they seem,
Go back to happy times.
yeah, it seems like definitely the Caucasian part of Tampa. I couldn't see like the Cuban community going down there and like.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
Like-
wanted, let's make the start again. Yeah. So at that time, there was segregation.
A lot of segregation,
So African Americans were not allowed. Really, they could shop in the stores, but they could not try clothes on. Could not eat at the lunch counter.
I just don't think they would have went had they been allowed.
Probably.
Sounds like white people stuff.
Had they been allowed.
Crackers, no.
Yeah. But Cubans were not so much either. But yeah, it was a very segregated town.
I mean, I grew up, in Seminole Heights and Ybor with a lot of Cuban people, and they didn't seem like they would go down a slope for no reason. They were pretty practical
They're
folks.
like, let's go watch this.
Like, nice cigar,
I didn't want to point it out because that felt weird.
Lower right.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question, but what is a toboggan?
I think
That's
it's the
no
wooden.
idea.
I think it's the wooden sled with the curly bit in front.
Oh, so like no sides.
No sides.
It's just like skis on a plank of wood. It's like a
It's
skateboard.
just one plank. I think it's one plank. Just
One
you
plank,
sliding
no
down
skis.
on those skis.
Everything back then was to injury.
Yeah, that sounds like it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
No brakes.
No.
10
Well,
stories,
the brake-
5 stories down
Yeah.
on some
Yeah,
no brakes.
transition from vertical to horizontal.
Okay.
That's where you stop.
None of these kids look bad.
No, they look wonderful. Yeah.
They look, get away from me.
Yeah, because the ice pump is also kind of person.
Yeah. No, it was
Santa's peed in it several times.
Any other questions
Someone
from?
was asking about the exhibit that we have.
Oh, okay.
So would we ever bring it back?
We very well could. So we did.
Every year.
So think about right. So last year we had an exhibit from the state of Florida that was kind of all different holidays that were celebrated in the state, and it was just small enough for our gallery that we could add a component to it, and so we added the snow show. So really, we have, including the great helmet, we have a huge collection of things that Howard Hilton gave to us in 2006, 2007. So all the paperwork, all the insurance paperwork, all the promotional stuff, all the drawings, everything. He gave us this great collection. So we put together an exhibit. We certainly could think about doing an annual snow show. Certainly maybe in 2028 to mark the true second anniversary of the snow show.
Would you like throw snowballs at people as they walk in?
Yeah, we can break windows.
I couldn't
Yeah.
get a hammer.
You can, just like Howard should have said, that's a bad idea. Let's not do
We
that.
actually did have fake snowballs. I mean, I didn't take them out because guests got around me.
Yeah, we had these.
Yeah, we're in Tampa.
Yeah, these felt covered, very soft snowballs.
Would anybody living here when we had snow in Tampa? I was here for that, yeah. Like, they still made us go to school because I was going to Edison Elementary in Seminole Heights. We walked out, it was January 18th, I believe, 1976.
78.
78, yeah.
We weren't born.
We're about the same age, yeah. So I was going there, and I remember we walked out in the snow, and we're like, we're gonna build a snowman, and we got all the snow up in our front yard, and the snowman was about tall. Well, it was great. We get to stay home from school, and like, get to school, you nerds. Yeah, but I still remember like walking out.
I
And
made
seeing
a
snow.
snowman from all the snow from my mom put in my mom's car, and it was about this tall.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to school.
You did? Oh, you had cool parents.
She wasn't gonna let me. She wanted to drive in the snow.
My parents were hungover. Get out of here. But that was good times.
Yes.